I just got in a fight with a red wasp. I'm out here a little later than usual, and they live up there. They don't like me coming out here. But it's my house, so I'm going to do what I want. Well, a lot of people tend to think Elvis was the king of rock and roll. Nope. They don't know what I know and what I'm getting ready to tell you. And you're going to know by the end of the video who the true kings of rock and roll was. Now we're going to talk about all kinds of music here because this is about a music video. But you see, rock and roll has been around thousands and thousands and thousands of years. In fact, the very first rock and roll song was composed in a cave by two cavemen. How do I know? My magic coffee mug. Well, I don't have it today, but when I look down into my magic coffee mug, I see things. Two brothers named Ooh and Ah sitting around in their cave one day. Ooh's reading a newspaper. Yeah, the Rock Times. And a fly comes in. It's driving them nuts. They don't know what to do. So Ah picks up a stick and he hits it. It's on the wall and he hits it and he hits it again. Ooh looks over his paper and the fly lands on his paper and Ah hits the paper. Ooh is like, man, do that again. Just the way you did it. So Ah goes. He says, keep doing it. And their heads start going. And then all of a sudden, the first lyric is belted out. Ooh. Ah. Ooh. Ah. That was the very first rock and roll song. The name of it was Ooh and Ah by Ooh and Ah. Now you know. Now you know who the true kings of rock and roll were. Man, just to have been there when that was created, Ooh and Ah, they didn't even get any glory for it until now. Now you know who they are, and the rest of the world will know who they are. So share this video so Ooh and Ah can get the fame they deserve. I just got back. I got to go to a clothing store and get some new spiffy shirts. That's what I call them. Any shirt that's not a t-shirt to me is a spiffy shirt. These are huge on me. They swim. So I got to get some that fit, man. So music goes back since the beginning of man. There's always been music. It's in the Bible. It's everywhere. They say if we die and go to heaven, everybody's up there and all they do is sing and dance. I mean, that might get a little old to me. I mean, you can only handle it so long. Then you need some peace and quiet. Hopefully there's that option. But if there is music up there, can you imagine the bands and the concerts that's going on up there right now? The people that we've lost. There's some good music going on up there. Do you think there are singers up there too? I don't know. Maybe we'll all sound good up there. I don't know. Who would you go see? Elvis? Who? Maybe they don't know how to sing up there. Maybe they're dancers. I don't know. I like all kinds of music. I like rock and roll. I like country. I like blues. I even like some old Frank Sinatra once in a while. Depends on the mood I'm in. There's music for every occasion. And it's very rare when you run into somebody that doesn't like music, I've only known a few of those kind of people in my life, and well, they were strange birds. Strange birds. Didn't like music. What do you do when you're driving down on a trip or something, driving down a road on a trip? You got to have some tunes. I was just jamming out to some Sammy Hagar. Remember that? Getting in the old 1969 Cutlass. That was my first car. Lime green. Back first 4 cars I ever owned were lime green. It was like it was a popular color back in the late 60s, early 70s, lime green. And I remember getting in my 69 Cutlass. I had an 8-track player in there. Putting in them 8 tracks, and you knew what song you wanted to hear. But what sucked about the 8-track is you could skip it 4 times, but it'd always be in the middle of a song. So you would have to find a song that was before it and wait. I don't remember if they had fast forward or not. I think maybe if you was rich and had the fancy 8-track player, you might have had fast forward, but I don't remember it. It was just you hit the channel and it skipped to the next song in the middle of the song or wherever it happened to be. Then cassettes came out. Yep. Put in that old Sammy Hagar. By then, I was in my, I think it was a 70 Chevy Nova. It was a fast car, lime green. Kind of a darker lime green, but it was green. Put that in, I can't drive 55. And you couldn't. You could not drive 55, man. That was the speed limit back then about everywhere. But you couldn't drive 55 because that music would pump you up, and especially on a Friday night, you was going out to party. Yeah, can't drive 55. Then when I got a little older, I started listening to country music. It didn't start getting bad until probably the 2000s. A little bit, well, maybe 2010s when they got this so-called new country. See, old people don't like new stuff. I can listen to the old rock and roll hits every day for the rest of my life. That's how good that music was, is it lasts you a lifetime. But this new music, I mean, they're taking country songs and putting voice boxes on it, rap music to it. It's not no good, man. I don't like it. There are maybe a few that I can tolerate, but for the most part, I don't play it. Now, if I'm in a certain public place that's playing it, that's how I get exposed to these other kinds of music. And I was always more of a rock and roll, heavy metal type, you know, I wouldn't say crazy heavy. I do like some Metallica, but AC/DC, you know, I like the Stones, a lot of them bands. But they didn't much, I think the best music ended in the 80s. 80s really didn't even, for anything else, didn't have much. I guess it had good music. I don't know. Depends what you listen to. But the 90s, it really started go downhill. They started doing that grunge music. I don't care for that Seattle sound. I do like a few Nirvana songs, but you can't understand. You couldn't understand that dude. What he's screaming and hollering. Can't understand him. Those are the best songs, though, when you can't understand them. Yeah. I still ain't figured out what he's saying in that one song, Smells Like Teen Spirit. What's he saying? You can't make it out. It's impossible. I think they just sit down and they're drunk and they gibber out a bunch of stuff and it sounds good and they play it. They want you to be confused with these lyrics. And then there's lyrics that you think were certain words all these years and you find out it ain't. It was something else. So if you ever want to wonder about something, you just print out the lyrics. You can just Google, give me the lyrics to this song. And there they are. You'd be surprised how many of them you get wrong. You know, used to be, if you didn't know, I'm terrible at remembering lyrics to every song, and you get to a part, you don't remember the words, you just do this. Sounds good. Some old videos I do that in when I'm building and that, and I'm singing a song, and I bust into a Shaka Khan, Shaka Khan, Shaka Khan, Shaka Khan, let me rock you, Shaka Khan. Because you don't know the rest of the words. So you just make them up. That's something we used to do. Make up our own lyrics to songs. Change the lyrics. One that comes to mind. Your Kiss is on my list. Who was that? Hall & Oates? Yeah, you can imagine what I've changed the lyrics to that too, okay? And then Weird Al comes out. And he makes a living doing that. I was doing it first, man. Everybody was kung fu fighting. Yeah, 70s now. There was some strange stuff coming out in the 70s. Disco Duck. All them truck driving songs that were coming out. And then they started having them songs that come out where they would play a little clip of a song and then some radio announcer would get on there. And there's Jaws out there at the beach. And then they'd play another song. Those were lame. Very lame. I'm glad we still don't have those. I don't even think you can buy those nowadays. My favorite song of all time, man, I don't know. That's it. It's called I Don't Know by The Who. You're like, they didn't have no song named I Don't Know. Well, it sounded good. I don't know. Well, I heard some good ones coming back from where I was at today. Yeah. There's a lot of good music out there, but you have to listen to different kinds. I mean, it all pretty much stems from the blues. I like good Mississippi Delta blues and Stevie Ray Vaughan. That's a weird story there. My grandmother was from Mississippi. And this particular day, I had a Stevie Ray Vaughan CD and a boombox, and I wanted to play it for my grandmother. And so I'm on there, and I put the CD in, and my grandmother's listening to it, and she's liking it. You know, this was early 90s. I can't remember exact year, but if I looked it up, I'd know the exact day and the exact time. And she liked it, and I turned it off, and then we put the radio back on. And I mean, I'm not kidding you. It was not 15 minutes later, they came on the radio and said Stevie Ray Vaughan had been killed in a helicopter crash. That was freaky. And I remember that night, I think I was about 23. That night I was bartending, and we had a band that played Stevie Ray Vaughan songs. And the place sold out, man. I mean, this kid was good. If you're in the Cleveland area, Frankie Starr. And so he really did good after that. But that was weird. What else happened? And I had seen him, I think it was in '88. This is when I was living in Cleveland area back then. And I had seen him in concert with Robert Plant from Led Zeppelin, you know. He's a weird dude, but he was still good. He probably still is. So I just heard on the radio, Sammy Hagar is going to be 78 years old. So that's something to think about. All these guys are getting old, but what you're seeing is a lot of these old rock bands are still out there playing. And some of them do pretty good. I mean, the Rolling Stones, they're kicking it. But some of them, they should have retired because their voices just ain't what they were. I mean, Guns N' Roses, Axl Rose, I guess he does all right for his age, but they don't look the same. They don't sound the same. And there's a lot of them out there doing it. Country, I seen Willie Nelson, when would that have been? In the early 2008, I think it was. I seen him at a casino when I was in Tulsa. And he was in his 80s then, and he was terrible. He was just terrible. He didn't have the lung capacity to sing very long. And he still gets out there. The guy's in his 90s, but he talks it because he doesn't have lung capacity. And that's what happens when these guys get older. They can't hit those notes. They can't sing for very long because their lung capacity is gone. But it's kind of cool to get to see him, you know. I mean, look what happened with Ozzy. Just a week or two before he died, he did his last concert. I think he knew he was dying. And up until, I seen some of that. I didn't see all of it, but he did okay. And he was just he was just sitting there in that chair. And but you get that age, you just can't sing like that. But he did pretty good up until a few years ago. So, but look at all the drugs and alcohol and everything they did. It's amazing. A lot of them are still here and still singing. All right, well, I'm getting a late video out today. I took a poll the other day. You guys said you didn't care if it was morning or afternoon. So what I'll probably do is, if I got something going, I'll do it in the afternoon. And if not, I'll do it in the morning. The light is definitely better in the afternoon. Today is overcast, so it probably don't matter much. But I'll just get one a day out to you. I ain't going to guarantee a time. So thanks for watching, guys. Happy trails. Let me know about your favorite rock band, rock and roll stories, whatever you want to put in the comments. Happy trails.